YouTubies. This is Psychic Bob. Woo! Here we are. It's Sunday. Can you believe? I tell you, I don't know where this last week is gone. Wow. I tell you. And you know, today, just so you know, if you didn't forget, make sure to have your clock set back an hour if you live in the United States, because we're going back to normal time. Anyway, so set your clocks back so you don't get up to work too early tomorrow. Anyways, well, here we are. It's Sunday, and I got to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who came out to last night's video. We had our Saturday night seance, and it was very profound, very powerful. And I just, you know, I get as much out of the messages as you guys do. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who came out to it and supported it. And if you haven't seen that, check it out. It's in the queue right before this video, okay? Anyways, I want to come here today and talk to you about something that I love. It's a piece of jewelry that I often wear. Let me show this to you. Do you guys recognize what this is? I know some of you will know what it is. Some of you may not. Let me bring it closer here. Well, you know, I have to tell you, when I first started into the craft, I used to see people wearing symbols like this. I thought, oh, that's kind of neat, but I didn't know what it was. And one day I asked them, I said, well, what is it that you're wearing? They said, I said, are you a Wiccan? They said, oh, yeah, I'm a Wiccan, but I worship Thor. And this is Thor's hammer. I said, Thor's hammer? That's really interesting. And they said, yeah, we wear it for protection because the god Thor wielded a hammer that he could throw lightning bolts from and destroy demons and save people with. I said, wow. So I started researching Thor's hammer. And I found that this is actually a very, very old symbol. And if you look up the history of the hammer, you'll find out that this was worn by the ancient Nordic peoples, the Scandinavians, people of Norway and Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Denmark. A lot of them wore this because they were worshippers of Thor. And what's really fascinating is that the Thor hammers that are worn today look very much like the ancient hammers. In fact, let me put up here a picture of an ancient Thor hammer. This is an original Thor hammer back in the day from when Thor was actively worshipped on Earth. So as you can see, today's hammers look very similar. Well, you know, since I've got into worshiping Thor, I started collecting hammers, and I have a few of them here. This is the one I'm wearing today, and in fact, let me show you a little close-up here. This is really cool because it ties in the symbolism of the horned Lord. You'll notice it's got like a ram's head, and look at this on the edge, it's the horns. Do you see that? See, there are the horns right there. So that's a ram's head. And then it's got Celtic knots going down it as well. There's a triquetra and then some Celtic knot work. So I just think that's really cool. So, you know, because Thor, I don't think he actually had horns, but he did wear a horned helmet. And so his helmet is kind of like his horns. But this is combining the Lord imagery with the Thor's hammers, the horned Lord and the Thor hammer. I love it. And in fact, I have a few of them. Let me show you some of my other ones here. Check this out. This is my big one. This is a really heavy, solid, beautiful piece. This is fascinating because if you look very closely here, it's got the face of Thor. Do you see there the two eyes, the nose, the mouth? And down here, it's like hands reaching out. Each side here are hands reaching out, and the other side too. And I believe that that right there is that, see that branched? I'm pretty sure that's the rune algaes. In fact, let me turn this over. And if you look right in the middle there, I'm pretty sure that's algaes. That means protection. So this is definitely a magical pendant. This is one of my really heavy ones. You can kind of see how big it is. But I like to wear that one sometimes too. See, I put that on. That's a big Thor's hammer. I tell you, even if the magic part doesn't work, you just throw this thing at somebody, you got a weapon. You really do. Ooh, I tell you. And I got a few other little Thor hammers here. And, you know, I wear all of these as my connection to the god Thor. Here's one you can see Thor's face in his beard. And up at the top here, this is neat. If you look real carefully, little lightning bolts on each side. See that? Isn't that amazing? So I tell you, Thor's hammer is a wonderful sign. Here's one also. Now this is neat because it has runic script down in the hammerhead. And what that actually says, if you can read the runes, is Mjolnir. Mjolnir is the word, I guess it's ancient Norse. It means hammer, hammer of Thor, Mjolnir. So this is acknowledging that this is Thor's hammer. And I really am getting into the Thor's hammer. You know, I've been collecting these the last few years. And really, as I work with Thor, I feel a lot of power. Now, here's one of my Thor figurines. I collect Thor imagery. And if you look at this, this shows the Mjolnir, the hammer, up here in his hand. And he's shooting out lightning bolts. Isn't that pretty cool? Check that out. So a lot of power there. And in fact, let me put some pictures up here of Thor using his Mjolnir, his hammer, to do some lightning power. Check this out. So there you go. Now, isn't that pretty neat? I tell you. So, you know, whenever you're looking at images of Thor, take note and see if he has his magic hammer. Here's one of my other Thor figurines. I don't know if I've shown you this one. Isn't this cool? He's got his Mjolnir here in his hand, his hammer. That's good. He's got on his winged helmet. And of course, you guys have seen my giant Thor. This is my big Thor I put on my Thor shrine. And he's got his big hammer here. Check this out. Now, there's a serious hammer. Check that out. Huh? So anyways, I just want to bring this here to you because, you know, if you are, you know, feeling under attack, and you feel like you need a little extra, you know, protection, you might want to start wearing Thor's hammer and invoking him. I'll show you here real quickly. If you don't, you know, have the ability right now, you might say, well, Bob, I can't buy one of these beautiful hammers. Don't have any money. How do I work with the Thor's hammer? Well, let me show you something here. So come on over. Now, this is a very simple charm that you can make, but it's very effective. So all you need is to find a little piece of cardboard. I just took a little piece of cardboard off an old box. And you need a pen. And if you have a picture of a Thor's hammer, you know, you can look at that to study it. Or just be creative and create your own. So I'm going to just draw a Thor's hammer here. Now, remember, the Thor's hammers of old were rather stylized, so you don't have to make it look like a literal hammer. It can be kind of your own style, but it should follow the traditional kind of Nordic lines. That's why I think, you know, I'd say look up some pictures. You know, and as you study the forms, you'll come to know kind of what the Thor's hammer looked like. Now, don't worry if your line drawing's not perfect, because you'll have some time to adjust it. And if you want to realign it while you're drawing it, don't worry, because you're not going to see all the markings later on. I kind of like that. I think that looks kind of Thor's hammerish. What do you think? Okay. Now the next step is you just want to take your scissors, get a pair of scissors and cut that out. Try to choose a cardboard that's not too thick. You might want to choose, for example, a cardboard from like a shoebox or like a dress shirt box rather than a packing box, because packing boxes tend to be thick. You could also use perfume bottle box. So there's a lot of different options there that you can choose from. I'm not so good at cutting. I'm a little uncoordinated at times. But we do the best we can. Just cut out as much of the big roughage as you can, and then get down to the fine trim work. I'd suggest you keep your hammer shape rather simple unless you're particularly good with scissors, because it will get a little hard to cut it out. So you want to kind of, just take your time. And as you're cutting, you want to think about imbuing this hammer with the power of Thor. And you might even, for example, meditate on Thor or have a chant to Thor. Like we could just chant, "Hail Thor," as we cut. "Hail, great mighty Thor. Hail Thor." Make your creation of your charm part of your spell work. See, it's not like you just have to wait till it's done to then consecrate. Every step along the way is an act of consecration. So we want to invoke Thor as we cut. And we know that his power will be imbued in this little charm. And again, as I said, don't worry if your form of your charm is not just 100% perfect. The intent is what matters, that you're trying to make it something for Thor to work through. And just keep trimming it down till you feel that it looks the way that you want it to look. And again, remember, don't get too obsessed about perfection. The heart is what matters. Thor will know that your love is being imbued in this charm. Now see, I got this a little off, so I'm just going to shorten the side a little bit to even it out. Little by little, we're just going to trim away at our charm. Now, once you have your Thor hammer cut out of cardboard, another optional step, now this is optional, you don't have to do it. Some people like to put sacred symbols or runes on it. So like, for example, we might want to put the name of Thor on this. So we just take our pen, and if you know the runes, you can do the name of Thor in runic script, and that will help imbue his power in it. So there you go. Now you could also put other symbols, just protection runes, or whatever symbol is sacred to you. Like, for example, I think I want to add a pentagram also onto this because I'm a Wiccan and that's my sacred symbol. So I'm going to put a pentacle also on it, okay? Now, after you do that, we have another step. What you want to do is get some aluminum foil or aluminium foil and tear off a piece. Don't need a big sheet, just a small thin sheet. And then you can take your rune and just wrap it in aluminum foil. Actually, I think we'll cut some of this off. It's a little big. Okay. I'm just going to seal my rune up in this aluminum foil. Just pack it real tight around your rune. There you go. Just smooth it down, make it fit the creases. Just pack it down, rub it down. And there you go. Now, if you want, you could skip this stage and just from the cardboard stage paint your Thor's hammer with paint and paint runes on it. But if you want a really nice metallic look, this is a technique I recommend. It's very simple. Uses aluminum foil and it's instantaneous. And it has that metallic quality that Thor's hammer is known for. Now, at this point, you can also paint more runes on the surface or just leave it as it is. You might want to get a sharp object like a knife or a pen. You could pierce a hole in this and then run a string through it. So I think we're going to do that. So let's work on that part now. Now this is why another reason I suggest you have thinner cardboard, because it's easier to make a hole. Now I've got a very sharp pen here. Actually, I can just drill down through this with my pen tip and make the hole. There you go. There's a nice little hole. Now, at this point, you can get some colored ribbon or you can get some string. I happen to have some string here. And I'm just going to cut off a piece of this. And the way I like to do my objects, I like to tie my string off so that I have a loop. Okay, this is just one way to do it. You don't have to do it this way, but I'm just going to show you how I like to do it. So we'll tie it off here. Oops, hold on, let me get this through. We have a knot here in our cord. So as you can see, it's similar to a necklace. It's one looped cord that's knotted off, okay? Now, what you can then do is, holding the end of your cord that is furthest away from the knot, just thread that through your hole. So I'm going to have to make this hole a little bigger. That's okay. We can work on that. Just stretch it a little bit. Okay. So as I said, just thread that through the hole. I had to make it a little larger here. And then what I do is I take the top half of the loop and push it back through. And what that does is that tightens up and makes it like a little slip knot here. And you can secure your beautiful rune. Isn't that wonderful? So now, as you can see, we've made a lovely little Thor's hammer charm. And this can be hung up in your car or in your home. Or if you make it long enough, actually I didn't make this one long, you could even wear it as a pendant. And that'd be great with your ritual robes, wouldn't it? So there you go. So you can now bring the power of Thor's hammer into your life too. So I hope today, guys, this has been of some help to you. And I've certainly enjoyed being here and sharing that with you. And, you know, it's like I say, hail Thor. There he is. Actually, this one's missing his hammer, so I guess I better use this one. Hail Thor. There's the Mjolnir. Anyways, guys, tell me in the box below, have you ever heard of Thor's hammer? Have you heard of Thor's hammer? And two, have you ever worn one? And what's been your experience with Thor's hammer? Anyway, share your thoughts in the box below. I'd sure love to hear from you. You guys are rock. You guys rock always. So anyways, I hope you'll show Psychic Bob some love by liking this video, favorite this video, share it with your friends. And if you can, and if you haven't done so, hit subscribe and be part of our channel. We sure love you to be here. Well, you guys rock. Thanks for being here. I'm certainly glad you're here. Tomorrow is Monday, And you know what? Sankey's been so busy, I haven't had time to think about what we're going to do for the next few days. But just be back here tomorrow. We're going to have something fun, and we'll continue on with our mystical explorations. You guys rock. Thanks for being here. I love you. Keep it here at Spirit Channel. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Blessed be.